welcome to the channel. In this video, we check out the Irwin Marples chisel set that only costs you 70 bucks. Stick with me. Okay, so here they are. They do come in their own leather tool roll, which to me is awesome. I live in Western Pennsylvania and the rust here is insane. So all of my chisels have their own tool roll, but I had to buy them separately because it didn't come with it. These chisels are only 70 bucks and they come with a leather tool roll, and that leather roll is made really nicely. It's made with a nice thick leather. It's all stitched really well. It has the brass eyelets up at the top if you do want to, there we go. If you do want to hang it up on the wall, it's got, I mean, it's just really well made. So for 70 bucks, you get a 1 1/4 inch, 1 inch, 3/4, 1/2 inch, and 1/4 inch. Okay, that's pretty much all you need when it comes to using chisels. Some might argue that you really only need these 4 right here. I like having a bigger one for when I mark out a line and I want to make that line deeper before I start chopping. That's when I grab my biggest chisel. Some people also might argue that you need a 1/8. Nah, it depends on what you do. I have a 1/8 and I just don't use it that often. Is it nice to have? Yeah, but this right here is an amazing set for 70 bucks. Again, you get all of these chisels, 5 chisels and a tool roll. So about the chisels themselves, they are made really well. So they have the brass on the ends. It's got a wooden butt, so you can hit that with a brass hammer or a wooden mallet. This right here holds it together and prevents it from splitting. And it's just, let me see if I can do this again. They're really well balanced, and I love that feature. So when you get to each one, you do have to end up going a little bit higher. I'm going to see if I can do this again because I had it.
There we go. Oop. There we go.
So the balance on all of them is good. This one's a little bit of a struggle. Oh, no, I got it. So the balance is awesome. I mean, for the weight of the chisel portion and the handle, they're awesome. I pay attention to that. I don't know if I'm just OCD about it, but I love the balance of these chisels. I love the way that the handle is shaped. So it's more flat here, which lines up with the blade, and then it's more narrow here, which lines up with the blade. And I like that because it helps you like unconsciously register where this angle is. So where the edge is at, depending on how you're holding the handle, it tells you. So I know right now that it's lined up here. I know right now that it's lined up here. Do you know what I mean? So I love that these handles are like that. A lot of the old vintage chisels just have rounded handles, and I find that that's a little bit tough to register. You have to pay attention a little bit more to where you're at versus when a handle is shaped like this. So I love that. I am going to start including footage that is showing you these chisels in action because they kind of, they surprised me. So a lot of people, as I mentioned before, a lot of people like to look down on Irwin chisels and Marples. Marples Blue Chips is a vintage chisel that like is highly desirable and really well loved. I have a full set of them, and I didn't notice too much of a difference, and you guys might yell at me for that and be all upset and angry because what happened is Marples was making their own, and then they got bought out by Irwin. And then Irwin took it, and some people say they decreased the quality. With these ones, I don't see that. I gotta pause for a moment and let you know a couple things that just happened with the channel. So, I created a Discord account. It is not as cool as Wood by Wright's Hive Mind, but it is a little community that we're starting there. Go ahead and check it out. It's called The Cave. I'll put a link down below. The other thing is I started a Patreon account because I'm learning that Patreon is more what I'm supposed to do as a woodworking YouTube creator versus the buy me a coffee thing. So I started the Patreon account. Feel free to check that out. Also, I will put a link down below. And then, of course, like and subscribe. I was able to chop like crazy with these, and I just went nuts. This chisel, I kind of abused, and it held up really well. So when it comes to the edge, none of the edges rolled over. At the very end of the footage, you'll see me, I actually take the board and chop it in half with this chisel right here. And that's when I got a tiny amount of edge rollover right in the middle. Now, what did happen is they did take some edge damage. Like when I run my finger along here, it stops right there. That's pretty much it. Yeah, it stops right in the middle there. And that happened with a couple of them. But what that tells me, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but this is just my experience, is that these chisels are hard. For the edge to take damage and not roll over, the edge is hard. If you prefer your edges to roll over, or that's what happens to your chisels, they're softer. So I like that these chisels are hard. And even though the edge was taking damage, I was still able to take really pretty shavings with it. And it's not like you could see a big chip out. It was nothing like that at all. It's very, very minor damage. And even then, when the edge got damaged, I was still able to shave hairs. Through the entire thing, I was still able to shave hairs. At the very end, I chopped all the way through that board, and I was still able to shave hairs. And that... that's amazing. I'm surprised these chisels don't get more attention because they really impressed me. All of them. They were easy to sharpen. Now, you'll have to watch the other video. I sharpened these on the Work Sharp. I don't... Go watch that video. But I'm going to fix these up. A buddy let me borrow these to do a review. So I'm going to fix these up for him. But flattening them was really easy. The bigger ones ended up with a hollow right here, which I don't care about because as long as the sides register, that's for flatness. And then the front, so front and sides need to be flat. If there's a hollow, I don't care. Again, front for sharpness, side for registration. So this one had a hollow there, which wasn't an issue at all. This one had a hollow here as well. This one had like a weird hollow off to the side, but it didn't take me long to get that flat. This one, this is the 1/2 inch one. It took me a little bit longer because it was like flat right here, and then this was lifted up and that was lifted up. So this one took me a little bit longer. This one was pretty quick. I think it was maybe this corner right here, and I might have messed it up myself just lifting it slightly. But they were really easy to flatten. They were really easy to sharpen. That's what surprised me too. I expected these to be more out of whack on the back. I expected it to take a lot longer on the back, but it didn't. So they were really easy to set up, really easy to sharpen, really comfortable to hold. And I'm just honestly amazed for 70 bucks. And I expected these to be a lot worse. My buddy Scott is the one that sent this over to me. He's one of our subscribers, and he said, hey, I'm going to send you these chisels if you want to do a review on them. He also sent me the Work Sharp, and when he said that, I was like, oh. I was like, I wanted to say, I'm sorry you bought those chisels. I'll still do a review, but you're probably going to want to return them, so I might not want to use them. But I didn't say any of that. I just said, oh, thank you, buddy. I truly appreciate it, which I do. Especially now, because I am very surprised by these chisels. I am taken aback a little bit that I was able to do all this chopping, and slicing, and I tried every single one of them out to make sure that they were all the same, to make sure, like, the heat treat was good on these, and this one, but not that one, so I tested them all to make sure they were all good, but I really did put this one through its paces, and this is the very end, after I had been using it for a long time. I'm going to try to get footage of it, but it's clean. It's clean. It's cutting the fibers. I don't see it compressing them. Like, how you get the tear out inside of here? I don't know if that's what they call it, but the tear out that happens inside of the end grain, it's not there. And I went crazy with this one. I used it a lot, so they're awesome chisels. So, I really expected these chisels to suck. I thought this review was going to be, well, if you're new to woodworking and you want a decent set of chisels under $100, then go ahead and check these out, but no. These chisels have blown my mind, and again, they're neck and neck with those Marples Blue Chips. I can't thank Scott enough for letting this video happen and making this whole thing possible, because I've seen these in stores and I've seen them hanging up on the wall, and I said, well, those look really pretty, but they probably suck, and I moved on about my day, but they don't suck. And I know a lot of people say that about Marples, and when Irwin bought them out, and I think they moved their production over to China, so you can yell about that if you want to, but I don't see that they decreased in quality at all, because they're neck and neck with my vintage Marples Blue Chips, like the collectible ones. Now, I haven't tried any of the Irwin plastic handles, so I can't speak about those. That's just for this set of chisels. The other thing is, I have never tried any of like the IBC or the Lee Nielsen or any of those really expensive high-end chisels, but I'm trying to figure out why you would need a set of chisels that's hundreds of dollars when these ones were only 70 bucks, and they did a phenomenal job. They take a little bit of work setting up that you got to flatten the backs, but to save hundreds of dollars, does it really take that much time? So that's something that I have to think about, because I have not like hundreds of dollars of chisels, but I have expensive chisels, and these ones did a phenomenal job, and that's just very surprising to me. I do want to tell you too that the board that I was testing these chisels on, it was a maple board. I have these chisels with a 30-degree micro bevel. They come at 25 degrees. I put a 30-degree micro bevel on it. I used the Work Sharp with a 3000 grit sandpaper to do that micro bevel, and I didn't strop. So that's surprising to me too. If you have these chisels and like them, let us know. If you have these chisels and don't like them, let us know. This is my opinion on them, so if you have a different one, let us know. That's allowed. Again, thank you, Scott. I am thoroughly surprised by these chisels, and you're going to love them because they are really, really good. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, anything like that, feel free to let us know down below. Don't forget to do like and subscribe, and have a good day.